Anti-black racism for us is the mobilization of the pigmentation of African and non-European people as a means of their oppression, as a marker of their servitude. This racial categorization is a design of the Europeans who for over 300 years ruled Africa in accordance with pigmentations. In this view, they as Europeans are white because of the coincidence of the lighter or of their lighter pigmentation, which according to them makes them superior and destined to live off the servitude of Africans who, because of the coincidence of their darker pigmentation, are black and therefore inferior. This idiotic line is basically and obviously a pure lie, yet it is mobilized as the explanation for why over the centuries white people are more powerful and continue to be generally more successful than other races, when in fact their success is due to their violent conquest and continued dispossession of the means of subsistence from other races. Meaning they are not successful because they are white-skinned. They are successful because they possess, through violent means over the history, the means of subsistence or the means of production. Their conquest, development, or general advancement has nothing to do with their skin color. It has everything to do with the murderous and brutal dispossession of people's means of subsistence, livestock, land, minerals, and so on and so forth. This is clearly demonstrated also by the fact that where this power, this hold on the means of subsistence is disarticulated, like in Vietnam, their skin color becomes irrelevant. Nevertheless, they have used their attained resources and economic power to build a society using this lie, that white represents beautiful, clean, intelligent, mastery, reliable, disciplined, powerful, developed, modern, healthy, holy, godly, angelic. I mean, you could hardly paint a heaven and heavenly beings using shadows and darkness. It's about light and white. Black represents ugly, dirty, primitive, superstitious, satanic, ill-mannered, demonic, unreliable, disreputable, underdeveloped, naturally stupid, tribal, physical. Something that is trapped and takes pleasure in the body, sexually predatory, and very close to animality. This lie or falsehood attained everyday socialization through the labor, educational, religious, artistic, cultural, punitive, and judicial apparatuses, mainly to normalize and reduce and reproduce a racially exploitative society. For victims of this normalization of racial exploitation, it resulted in a permanent but impossible pursuit of whiteness.
Yep.
We must underscore the reality that in a racist society, all people are white. Meaning the blacks, since they are not white, they are not people, and therefore are socialized to live in this zone of non-whiteness, a general state of constant pursuit of an identity you cannot attain. This whiteness, or non-whiteness for blacks, can only therefore be lived through the masks, because it is not naturally possible to attain it. This is because as a racist society, or in a racist society, you either turn white or you disappear. At the risk of disappearing, of being irrelevant, of not having access to any forms of life, blacks have to wear masks to conceal their image. That is their only way of survival. What are these masks? We have to adopt white languages in order to attain education and contribute to the body of knowledge. When we have risen to the highest levels of education and cultural achievement, according to racism, we have colonialism and apartheid to thank. All black brain surgeons, astronauts, physicists, engineers, accountants have whiteness, not their brains, to thank for their achievements. We must be grateful, which results in never questioning the status quo. To appreciate this reality, we must see how a black educational achievement is never settled. You're constantly doubted and you doubt yourself. You suspect that one day the academic institution may actually say it was a mistake to award you the degree. Like a mask, it may fall or it risks falling away and get you revealed that you are just as stupid as All Blacks. Nothing is special about you because, after all, physics as a discipline or as a discursive practice, within this discursive practice, you are a permanent foreigner, a part of non-part. We also have to turn against how we look.
Let's rewind there. Let's prepare for the coming.
Or as a discursive practice. Within this discursive practice, you are a permanent foreigner, a part of non-part. We also have to turn against how we look, against our hair and our skin color, against the way we were born, and adopt a general aesthetic of non-whiteness. Relax the woolly hair or shave it off.
Okay.
Cover it with a straight hair looking wig. We have to apply lightning creams from Escamela to the recent and more advanced biogenetic techniques of skin lightening, because a dark skin is really hard to sustain in a racist society, especially for. This is the same in sports. Think of Serena Williams or even the Brazilian national soccer team. Or in the arts, where a painter like Nelson Magamo or opera singer like Pretty Yende have to battle against the lie that their greatness is due not to their natural talent, but to the white affirmation. They have to battle the idea that art or opera music is a white thing, a pigment affair, when it really is about the skill of painting or the vocal talent of singing. Siya Kolisi, who demonstrates a great skill in rugby, proves that the sport has nothing to do with pigmentation but pure talent. Yet he still gets off the field to battle with those who seek to keep rugby about a white affair, a sport of skin color. Sia, like Hamilton, like Caster Semenya, must be grateful for being included or recognized by these whites and not question the status quo. He must feel special and not ask how come a sport about skill ends up being about skins. However, worse, if Serena Williams becomes the actual historic best of the best within a sport, which in itself will mean that she'll be at the pinnacle of all groundbreaking records within that sport, it must be a black person. This disruption will be met with actual tricks just to keep the sport under a lie that the best thing in it has to do with not skill, but skin. And all sports, top sport is white, and white people must be in it to be taken seriously or to be taken as sport at all. So blacks on their own hardly can establish any discipline or industry unless whites take it or take an interest in it. So to survive, we constantly have to white white affirmation. This is the life of white masks that we must wear to be always accepted. What's not accepted in front of them doesn't survive. In this theater of white masks, those blacks who do not wear or succeed to put on the white mask, that is, attain white affirmation, often end up disappearing into the general necropolities we call township and homelands. They cannot be remembered. They are part of the rubble of human waste. To survive, one must take on a mask and be at the permanent mercy of the white establishment for what is good, what is smart, what is beautiful, what is modern, what is civil, and generally acceptable. To be black is therefore a conscious fight against the system of masks. It is to take on an existence that seeks to break out of this lie. It is to refuse the mask by confronting the conditions that make wearing the mask the only way to be in the world. Blackness is accepting the fact of our defeat, that we are hated and despised people, and mobilize against the usage of our black pigmentation as a tool to constantly mark us out as nothing, animal, primitive, naturally stupid, and uncultured. To mark you out as those beings that cannot be trusted with anything on their own, especially money, who must be in constant supervision. A black conscious life refuses to explain our suffering as a cause of our pigmentation. When we become conscious of our blackness, we invest our energy in attacking not each other as blacks, but the system that creates our blackness as a despisable and disposable image. That is why the criminal or corrupt officials who steal from other blacks are as idiotic as the whites who live off the exploitation of black people. Targeting other black people is idiotic but also cowardice. The black hero fights the system, the white establishment, the white value system. They do not participate in lies, reproduce lies in the form of tribalism, Afrophobia, and sexism. They know the economic power lies with the establishment. The mission or the struggle is to attain the means or the resources to re-author the image of blacks in the world. It cannot be done without the means of subsistence, without economic power. We continue to depend on those who call us and prefer us to be non-whites in order to achieve anything. The post-apartheid political order for 28 years refused to take economic power and offer a new truth about black pigmented people.